Thank you. Doctor, thank you for your testimony and coming and talking with us today. I noticed from your resume you went to Case Western Reserve,
Yes.
which is just a couple blocks away from my great-grandparents in Little Italy.
Great.
So
Two of my degrees are
very, I noticed that. I noticed. Then you did a little time in Michigan. I won't focus on the Michigan time, but glad you spent some time in Ohio. I was a former staffer here for many, many years and had the opportunity to use this service and read through your testimony. And since Mr. Kelmer actually asked some of the questions I was going to ask, let me focus on a couple of things. In your testimony, and you actually, in your verbal testimony as well as your written, you said that you regularly receive feedback through the agency's direct interaction with congressional staff, including through programs and seminars. And you indicated that you personally receive feedback from your own conversations with members like myself and our staff. How do those interactions help you measure the effectiveness of your service and products?
So the first question out of my mouth when I run into a member of Congress is, how are we doing for you? What can we do better? Most times I get very positive feedback. We have tried to capture feedback in a more formal manner by doing Gallup surveys. Mm-hmm. The response rate is only 10% in general, and it's even lower for members. Okay. Every interaction we have with congressional staff is an opportunity to get feedback. So when we are responding to a targeted research request, the analyst will contact the requester, clarify the request, make sure we understand the deadline, the time frame that we have, but we'll also have an iterative conversation throughout the process to make sure that we are meeting your needs.
So let me ask you this, just as a follow-up. Are you tracking all of these conversations that you have with members of Congress and our staff?
Not in a formal way, because they're very informal, and a lot of times. Like
well, let me, and not to interrupt you, but I mean, do you see any certain trends over the last couple of years within the organization?
As long as I have been at CRS, the feedback that I get at my level is mostly uniformly positive. Now, that's not to say that occasionally there is a product.
I wish we had that same in Congress.
That I hear about. Mm-hmm. We have tried a few things. Recently, the American Law Division has put a one-question survey on the bottom of their newsletter that they send out to 600 people, 600 subscribers every 2 weeks.
So let me jump in here real quick because okay. Kind of in a related vein. You've contracted, if I'm not mistaken, with Gallup a couple times. To survey your staff on the effectiveness of your products and your services. How are those results from those two surveys incorporated into work, and what have you done as a follow-up to that? And I only have a minute and a half, so.
So a quick answer. One of the things that was commented upon, and I've already spoken to it, is bill summaries. Mm-hmm. That it's one of our most used products. And there was the issue raised about timeliness, and so we are taking efforts to improve that. If we get suggestions, specific suggestions about the product line, we move them forward. I set up a new product advisory committee that vets suggestions, new ideas for products.
Okay. Is customer service effectiveness a part of the performance review process for all of your employees?
Yes, I do believe so, that employees, that analysts will be evaluated to some extent on how well they serve you. But I am incredibly proud of the work that my staff does. They put in overtime. They work in the evenings, on the weekends, to make sure that you get what you need. Yeah. And in the very rare instance where we don't meet a deadline, we try to get detailed specifics, and we try to improve our performance. But realistically, sometimes the deadlines that you want are not achievable in the time frame you give us. to do a 50-state survey on a complex legal issue can't be done in a few hours.
Well, and I appreciate your testimony, appreciate the time. I've run out of mine, so I yield back, Madam Chair.